All right. I thought I'd show how to play I Melt With You by Modern English. This is always a fun one. If you're in a band, it always gets a good reception too. Guess it helps if I have the guitar on, huh? Anyways, it starts off with the So we're just gonna be playing those two chords there for the intro. Kind of carries the song. The first chord is like a C, a G over C. So basically, just take your regular C, right? And then what I do is just take my ring finger and move it from that C note on the A string and move it to the E note on the G string. I mean, the G string, the G note on the E string. And then put your pinky where the C was, right? So you've got that G note right there over C. So that's the first one, right? And then keep your index finger in the same spot, and we're just going to move it to an F major 7, which is the same thing if you can imagine like an F chord like that. I'm just not going to play that bottom F. I mean, I guess you could if you want to put your thumb over the top, but usually I don't play that. It sounds fine without it. And then, so you keep your index where it was, just move your fingers, everything down one spot, right, with the top E open. Okay, and then you have that the little tagline, which is, it's the same. You're basically just picking notes from those two chords that we were just playing, right? So for the first one, it's real simple. Just keep your fingers in that with that G over the C, right? And just go on the right hand. You're just going to go from A. You're just going up and down from the D, A, E strings. I mean D string, A string, E string, and then back to the A, back to the D, back to the A, right? And then move to the next chord, and then we're going to go, the next part we're only going to play on the D and the A strings. So it's D string, A, open A, back to A again, D, and open D, right? So you put that together, kind of carries the melody right there. It's really cool. That's always a good idea too, to use in your own playing. Like if you're playing a song that, how many millions of songs do you play where there's 2 or 3 chords and it just goes over and over and over. It's kind of cool trying to pick out the melody or pick out a cool little, something's cool sounding within the framework of the chords is always a cool thing to try and do. So that's pretty nifty. Let's see. One thing I was going to show was, so that's that part, and then you got that. There's a keyboard part in there that plays the I thought I would show that. It's always a cool thing, if you don't have a keyboard player, or you just wanted to play around along with the record to have something cool to use. Try and see if you can get like somewhat of like an organ sound. I usually use my phaser and a chorus, and I'll show the sound I like to use. But I'll show you this, and you'll hear it in there. It kind of during the chorus, you'll hear that in the background. That's always a cool thing to play. So the notes are, I guess for your mind, just be thinking the E minor pentatonic, I guess, or the E major. Let's see. Actually, don't even do that. I think of it as E minor, but the notes are, we're going to start on the 16th, so what is this, 12? So 13 on the G string, 13, and then 12, 15 on the top E. 3 times we do that, but you have to kind of listen to the way it goes. It doesn't just go. It's Okay? And then for the E note on the 14th fret of the G. So after that last time, and then 13 on the top E, 12. So $13 on the B. I've never played this slow, so I'm trying to figure out. Okay, yeah. So you're resolving there to the E note, right? So you do that 3 times. Right? Hopefully I explained that right. 14 on the G, 13, 12 on the top E, 13 on the B, back to that E note on the 14th of the G. And then we're going to go 13 on the B, 12 on the G, 14. So if you put that together, I'll play it slow, it goes. That takes you kind of back into it. Just repeat it. I have a cover on my page if you kind of want to hear me play along with the record, and I'll show you. I'm going to turn on my phaser and my chorus, and if you add something to it, you can kind of. You can kind of get a cool sound. But anyways, if you have some pedals you want to play around with to get a cool sound, that's always something cool to play in that background. Let me see, what other part of the song? So coming out of that, it's like the pre-chorus maybe. You'll hear him where he goes. Before he kind of goes into the humming part. So that's just an A to a G. I'm sorry, an E to a G to a A. I think it does it 3 times. And if you're going to play like the lead part, you come down here and you go. So that part, it's just triplets. So you put your index finger on the 9th fret of the G string, and we're just going to go 12, 11, 9. After you do that 3 times, so for the 4th time you would start here, and just listen to the recording, you'll hear it in there. And then you have that. So for that part, just kind of imagine like playing like a C major, but don't play the bottom E. In my head, that's what I'm kind of thinking. So I'm looking at these 3 notes: the 10th fret, like if I was playing a C major. So the 10th fret of the A and D, and the 9th fret of the G. And it's just those 3 strings, right? So we're just gonna go A string, G, D. And then A again. And then I just moved my finger to play that 10th fret. You go 10, 9 on the G. Back to the 10th fret on the D string, right? So you go. And then repeat it. And then I usually go back to the. And then that's all the parts of the song right there. And then it'll go back to the. And then I think it does that twice, and then you stop completely, and he does the humming part, and then it just comes back in with a. So, anyways, I think it's a cool little fun song to play. It's got the unique little taglines in there. So if you put all those parts together, you got that. And so on. So anyways, yeah, see if you can come up with a really cool keyboardy sound to play along with that song. It's a lot of fun, so enjoy that one.